Donald Trump's company, Alan Weisselberg, did it again, pleaded guilty to felony perjury charges in a Manhattan courtroom earlier today. He admitted that he lied in sworn testimony when asked about allegations that Trump lied about his wealth during the ex-president's civil fraud trial. This is now Weisselberg's second guilty plea. In 2022, he pleaded guilty to multiple tax fraud charges and served 3 months at Rikers. Today's guilty plea will put him behind bars again for up to 5 months.
Trump's worst nightmare just became reality, and what happened in New York courtroom is going to destroy everything he's built his entire life on. His top money guy, the person who handled every single dollar flowing through Trump Organization for decades, just stood in front of judge and confessed he's a liar. Alan Weisselberg, Trump's chief financial officer, pleaded guilty to perjury, admitted he lied under oath about Trump's finances, and what he lied about is devastating. He lied to make Trump look wealthier than he actually is, lied about property values, lied about asset sizes, lied to help Trump get better loan terms from banks, all while under oath, all while swearing to tell truth. That's felony perjury. That's crime. And Weisselberg is going to jail for 5 months because he couldn't stop lying about how rich Trump pretends to be. But here's what's going to destroy Trump. If his CFO was lying under oath to protect Trump's fake wealth story, what does that say about Trump's own testimony? Because Trump has given sworn testimony in dozens of cases over decades. And pattern is always same. Claims don't match documents. Statements contradict evidence. Everything inflated to make him look richer and more successful than reality. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. That's why we built National Brief Network to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. All right, let's get into what actually happened, because this isn't just another Trump associate getting in trouble. This is the money guy, the person who prepared Trump's financial statements, the person who filed tax returns, the person who knew truth about Trump's actual wealth versus what he claimed, and that person just admitted he committed crimes by lying in court to protect Trump's image. Think about what that means for Trump himself. Share this video with everyone you know because Weisselberg pleaded guilty to 2 counts of perjury in March 2024. Admitted he lied under oath about Trump's inflated asset values during civil fraud trial. Those financial statements were used with banks and insurance companies, were basis for loans, for coverage terms, for everything Trump's business depended on, and they were lies, systematically inflated to make properties look worth 3, 4, 5 times their actual value. Weisselberg knew they were lies because he prepared them. He's the one who took actual property appraisals and turned them into fantasy valuations, who looked at building worth $75 million and wrote down $350 million, who saw Mar-a-Lago valued at maybe $75 million as private club and claimed $750 million by pretending it could be subdivided for development, even though deed restrictions explicitly prohibited that. Every inflated number, every false valuation. Weisselberg knew the truth and chose to lie. And when he got caught, when prosecutors asked him about it under oath, he lied again. Committed perjury during active trial, got on witness stand with hand on Bible and swore to tell truth, then immediately started lying about same financial statements he knew were fraudulent. That's not mistake. That's not confusion. That's deliberate perjury to protect Trump from consequences of fraud. Think about what that means. Now Weisselberg is going to jail for 5 months. Second time he's been convicted of crimes related to work for Trump Organization. First time was tax fraud. Served 3 months at Rikers, got out, went right back to lying for Trump, got caught again. Now going back to jail for perjury. At what point do we stop pretending this is just one bad employee and recognize this is how Trump's entire operation functions? Make sure you're subscribed to National Brief Network because here's what Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg is thinking about all this. New York Times reported that Weisselberg's guilty plea strengthens Bragg's hand heading into Trump's criminal trial on falsified business records charges, because it shows pattern, shows culture of lying at Trump Organization, shows that when caught, Trump's people commit perjury to protect him. That's evidence of consciousness of guilt. That's proof Organization knew it was breaking law, and Weisselberg knows a lot about hush money payment at center of Bragg's case. Had discussions with Michael Cohen about how to structure payments so it didn't look like what it was, about hiding it in legal fees, about falsifying business records to cover it up. Weisselberg has been uncooperative witness, won't testify against Trump, so if prosecutors can't get him to cooperate, they'll discredit him. Show jury he's admitted perjurer who lies under oath to protect Trump. That destroys any defense testimony Weisselberg might give. Destroys his credibility completely. and raises massive questions about Trump's own credibility. Because if Trump's CFO lies under oath about Trump's finances and Trump gives testimony about those same finances, how do we know Trump isn't lying too? Especially when Trump's sworn statements show same pattern of inflated valuations that Weisselberg just admitted were lies. Now let me walk you through Trump's perjury exposure because this is where things get really dangerous for him. Legal analysts have been going through Trump's deposition history, all his sworn testimony over decades. And pattern they found is remarkable. Trump consistently makes claims under oath that don't match documentary evidence, overstates wealth, understates knowledge of problematic conduct, contradicts previous sworn statements, makes assertions about business deals that written records prove false. This isn't occasional mistake, this is systematic pattern across multiple proceedings. Judges have noticed, have questioned Trump's credibility in court, have noted discrepancies in his testimony, have imposed sanctions when they caught him playing games with truth. Civil fraud judge found Trump and his organization engaged in persistent fraud. That wasn't perjury finding specifically, but it was determination that financial statements were deliberately misleading. Share this with everyone because when your CFO pleads guilty to perjuring himself about those exact same financial statements, it paints a devastating picture. Either Trump didn't know his own CFO was lying about his finances, which would make him incompetent, or Trump knew and approved, which would make him criminal. There's no third option where Trump comes out looking good. Perjury is a particularly dangerous charge for Trump because it's simple. Can't hide behind complex legal theories. Can't argue about what constitutes official act versus personal conduct. Can't create reasonable doubt through complicated defense strategies. Perjury is straightforward. You swore to tell truth. You didn't tell truth. That's crime. When prosecutors have record of what you said under oath and documentary evidence proving it's false, there's not much wiggle room. And Trump's lawyers will try to argue any discrepancies were innocent mistakes, that Trump genuinely believed what he was saying even if it turned out wrong. That exaggeration isn't same as perjury. These are legitimate defenses that prosecutors would have to overcome. But pattern matters enormously here. When you see same kinds of false statements repeatedly, always in direction that makes Trump look richer or less guilty, always contradicted by same types of documentary evidence, becomes much harder to claim these were honest errors, especially when your CFO has admitted he lied about exact same things. When person who prepared your financial statements confesses he committed perjury about them, it destroys argument that everyone was acting in good faith. Shows there was deliberate effort to inflate values and lie about it. And if CFO was doing it, question becomes whether boss knew and approved. Think about what that means. Culture of lying that Weisselberg's plea exposes is crucial for understanding Trump's organization. This wasn't rogue employee making independent decision to commit perjury. This was CFO, one of most senior people in company, lying under oath specifically to protect Trump's wealth image. That suggests lying wasn't exception, but standard operating procedure. If CFO felt comfortable committing felony to boost Trump's image, what does that tell you about what Trump expected from employees? Legal experts are warning that prosecutors have plenty of material if they decide to pursue perjury charges against Trump. All those depositions where he contradicted documents, trial testimony where claims didn't match evidence, pattern of overstating wealth and understating knowledge, all sitting in court records, all available to be used. Question is whether prosecutors will make decision to charge and whether they can prove beyond reasonable doubt that Trump knowingly lied rather than being mistaken. But foundation for those charges is clearly there, and getting stronger with every guilty plea from Trump's associates. Weisselberg is second person from Trump's inner circle to plead guilty to crimes related to protecting Trump. Michael Cohen already served time. Now Weisselberg going back to jail. At some point, pattern becomes undeniable. This is how organization operated. Commit crimes, lie under oath, go to jail protecting boss. And this connects to all Trump's other legal problems in devastating ways. He's already convicted felon from New York hush money case, already has 34 felony convictions, already facing sentencing. Now his CFO admits to perjury about finances. That affects every other case, every other proceeding, because defendant with credibility problems is defendant who's much harder to defend. When your own CFO admits he committed crimes by lying in court to protect you, your word can't be trusted in any legal setting. Every time Trump gives testimony, opposing lawyers will bring up Weisselberg. Will say your CFO pleaded guilty to lying under oath about your finances. How do we know you're not lying too? That's devastating cross-examination that Trump can't escape. And political implications are massive. Trump built entire brand on being straight-talking truth teller. Guy who says what everyone else afraid to say. who tells it like it is. His supporters believe he's authentic and honest even when he's crude or controversial. But court record shows completely different picture. Shows organization where lying under oath was so normalized that CFO did it as matter of course. Shows pattern of sworn testimony that doesn't match documentary evidence. Shows judges questioning Trump's credibility repeatedly. Tell it like it is guy apparently can't tell it like it is when he's under oath. That's branding problem. That's credibility crisis. That's foundation of political image crumbling under weight of evidence that it's all built on lies. And this story explains so much about why Trump's legal problems keep multiplying. It's not just that he's facing charges on multiple fronts. It's that foundation of his entire public image, his claimed wealth, his business success, his straight-talking authenticity may all be built on testimony that falls apart moment anyone examines it closely, built on financial statements that CFO just admitted were lies. Now here's what happens next and why this matters for Trump's immediate legal future. Prosecutors now have Weisselberg's cooperation whether he wants to cooperate or not, have his guilty plea, have his admission that he lied under oath about Trump's finances, have his pattern of criminal conduct protecting Trump. All of that becomes evidence in other cases. Manhattan DA can use it in hush money case, can show jury that culture at Trump organization was lying and covering up, that when caught, employees committed perjury, that falsifying business records to hide hush money payment fits pattern of how organization operated. Weisselberg's guilty plea strengthens every part of prosecution's case about Trump organization being criminal enterprise. Civil fraud case implications are equally significant. Judge already found Trump liable, already ordered him to pay $354 million in penalties. But Weisselberg's perjury plea adds new dimension, shows Trump's own CFO was committing crimes to protect fraud scheme, that he lied on witness stand during trial itself. That makes fraud finding even more damning. Shows it wasn't just aggressive valuation, was systematic lying under oath to cover it up. And for potential future perjury charges against Trump, Weisselberg's plea provides a roadmap, shows prosecutors exactly how to build case, prove financial statements were inflated, show defendant knew they were inflated, demonstrate defendant testified falsely about them under oath, connect pattern of false statements to documentary evidence. Weisselberg's case is template for charging Trump with same crime. Think about what that means. Will prosecutors actually bring perjury charges against Trump? That depends on multiple factors: legal strategy, political considerations, strength of specific evidence. But foundation is absolutely there. Years of Trump's sworn testimony, pattern of discrepancies with documents, CFO admitting he lied about exact same things, all building toward moment when prosecutors might decide Trump needs to face consequences for his own perjury. Timing matters too. Trump facing sentencing in hush money case, facing appeals in civil fraud case, facing potential new charges in multiple jurisdictions. Perjury charges could come at any point, could be added to existing cases, could be separate prosecution, could be state or federal. Prosecutors have options, have evidence, have precedent from Weisselberg's conviction. And Trump can't pardon himself out of state perjury charges, can't make them disappear with executive power, would have to defend himself in court, would have to explain why his sworn testimony doesn't match documents, would have to overcome evidence that his own CFO lied about same things. That's nightmare scenario for someone whose entire defense strategy relies on attacking prosecutors and claiming witch hunt. Because perjury case isn't about politics. It's about whether you told truth under oath. Either your statements match documents or they don't. Either you were honest or you lied. No room for partisan spin. No way to make it about Democrats versus Republicans. Just facts and evidence and sworn testimony that doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show because Weisselberg going to jail sends message to other potential witnesses. Message is loud and clear. If you lie under oath to protect Trump, you will face consequences. You will go to prison. You won't be protected. Trump won't save you. You'll serve your time while he moves on. That message might make other witnesses think twice about committing perjury. Might make them decide cooperation is better than prison. Might make them tell truth instead of protecting Trump. And if that happens, if more witnesses start flipping, start telling prosecutors what really happened, Trump's legal situation gets exponentially worse. Because it's not just about one CFO lying anymore. It's about entire organization built on fraud and perjury. Bottom line is this: Alan Weisselberg pleaded guilty to perjury for lying under oath about Trump's inflated financial statements. Going to jail for 5 months. Second conviction for crimes related to work for Trump organization. First was tax fraud. Now perjury. Shows pattern of criminality protecting Trump. Shows culture where lying under oath was standard practice when organization got caught. Weisselberg lied to make Trump look richer than he actually is. Lied about property values that were systematically inflated. Lied during active civil fraud trial. Admitted it all in guilty plea. That strengthens Manhattan DA's hand in hush money case. Provides evidence of organizational culture of lying and covering up. Destroys Weisselberg's credibility as potential defense witness, and raises devastating questions about Trump's own testimony. Because if CFO lied under oath about Trump's finances, and Trump testified about same finances, how do we know Trump wasn't lying too? Especially when Trump's sworn statements show same pattern of inflated values Weisselberg admitted were false, pattern of claims that don't match documents, pattern of overstating wealth and understating knowledge. Legal analysts say prosecutors have plenty of material to pursue perjury charges against Trump. Years of depositions and trial testimony, pattern of discrepancies, documentary evidence contradicting sworn statements. Weisselberg's guilty plea provides template for how to build case, shows exactly how to prove someone lied under oath about financial statements. Whether prosecutors bring those charges depends on legal strategy and political factors. But foundation is clearly there and getting stronger with every guilty plea from Trump associates. Perjury cloud around Trump growing darker, more evidence accumulating, more associates admitting crimes, all pointing toward potential charges that Trump can't escape through political power. This destroys Trump's brand as straight-talking truth-teller, shows organization where lying under oath was normalized, where CFO committed felonies to protect boss's image, where truth didn't matter if it conflicted with maintaining fiction of wealth. That's not honest authenticity. That's systematic fraud backed by perjury. And courts are exposing it piece by piece, associate by associate, guilty plea by guilty plea. Trump's empire built on lies, and lies are being proven in court, under oath, by people who know truth. This story continues. Stay tuned.